Hello, Raindrops. Welcome to Government Minute. Minutes that matter. This is Mr. A asking you to do me 3 favors. Like and share this video, subscribe to this channel, and click on that notification bell so you know when our videos come out. As always, this video is dedicated to the glory of God who blessed this land. Federalism, federalism, federalism. I know you're tired of hearing that term, but what you have to understand is that that is the basis for the structure of government we have in this country. National and state governments. National and state governments. Is there such thing as local government? The reality is this. Yes, you do have local governments. Counties, cities, school districts, etc. But the reality is this. All those are subunits or parts of state government. In various ways and forms, states must give permission for local governments to exist. They help the state take care of their responsibilities. And so, technically speaking, it's all state government. But the state does allow some local governance to help the state carry out its functions. So we've talked about national government powers and state government powers. So what happens if there is a dispute between the two? What happens if there's a dispute between the state of Wyoming and the national government? Well, here's what it all boils down to. Everything government must do, whether it's a school district up to the United States government, must fit within the bounds of the Constitution. That's why it is so important to understand the Constitution. That's why it's so important to know the Constitution. If you don't know what's out of bounds, how will you ever play the game? How many of us know what government should and shouldn't do? You know more because you're watching Government Minute. But most people don't. That's why this is so important to get your friends, your family, social media contacts turned on to Government Minute so that we can all learn and become raindrops, cause a flood of constitutionalism in this country. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Everything government does must be in accord with what the Constitution provides. So the national government, it owes the states certain things. It owes the states a Republican form of government. That doesn't mean run by the Republicans. What it means is a representative form of government. If one of the governors tried to become a dictator and impose martial law in their state for no reason at all other than to consolidate power, the national government could and would step in to restore a Republican, little r, Republican form of government. The national government protects states against invasion and internal disorder. If Canada tried to take North Dakota, we can send the Texas Boy Scouts and take care of that. But if we couldn't send them, the national government would step in and repel the invasion. If certain cities or states are in the throes of upheaval and they can't get it under control, they can ask the national government to step in and help out. And the national government must respect the territorial integrity of each state. What do states do to help the national government? Well, one thing we do is we conduct elections and pick up the tab for it. We don't get reimbursed by the national government for holding the presidential elections or congressional elections. We take care of that. Naturalization, becoming a citizen, often takes place in state court, not federal. Actually, most often in state court, not federal court. And so the tab is picked up by the states. And fugitives, federal fugitives that have crossed one state into another, they are now federal fugitives. Fugitives that are on the run from the United States government for, let's say, counterfeiting. We will pick them up and hold them until the United States government, the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, whatever it may be, come and take custody of that prisoner. We will not charge them for room and board or the 3 square meals a day. States deal with each other because they have to. They share borders, they share resources, and so quite often states will come up with interstate compacts. Now, Congress must approve these agreements among the states themselves and with foreign states. So Texas and Louisiana might have one plan to manage the force that spills over into both states. Full faith and credit is given in each state to the public acts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other state. Things like birth certificates. If you have a Texas birth certificate, you don't have to prove you were born somewhere else. Every state accepts the birth certificate. Death certificates, same thing. Marriage licenses. If you're married in one state, you're married in all 50 states. Deeds to property. If you live in Colorado and you own land in Florida, okay, the Florida officials will recognize your ownership of that land. And car registrations. Wherever you live, that's where your car is registered, and that's good enough for state officials. If you're passing through, if you move to a state, you have a certain amount of time to fix all that and get your license and registration, all that changed over to your new state. But you can drive around this country, and the fact that your car is registered in Kentucky is good enough for all other states. Okay, we all practice extradition, or all states will extradite or send back a prisoner or a suspect back to the state where the crime committed in order to be charged. Privileges and immunities among the several states. No state can draw unreasonable distinctions between its citizens and citizens of other states. For example, any citizen can travel to any state. Any citizen can move to any state. Any citizen can buy property in another state, use the courts in other states. States must allow citizens to use its court system, make contracts, buy, own, rent, or sell property. You can draw some distinctions between your citizens and the citizens of another state. For example, perfect example, in Texas, all the wild fish and game belong to the citizens of Texas. We pay taxes for Texas Parks and Wildlife. We pay taxes for wildlife management. We pay taxes for other things, which other citizens in other states do not. So if someone from Kansas wants to come hunting down in Texas, they have not contributed to the upkeep of our shared game and fish in the state. So they have to pay more for a hunting or fishing license. Same thing with in-state and out-of-state college tuition. Here in Texas, we get a cheaper rate to go to a state school than someone who transfers from North Carolina to Texas A&M or University of Texas or University of Houston. So you can make reasonable distinctions between your citizens and the citizens of other states. So that's how states deal with each other. Quick examples of how states deal with each other. That's how the national government and the states deal with each other. So federalism, the division of power between a central government and several regional governments. Key to understanding our system. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you paid attention because there will be a test at the next election. This is Mr. A reminding you that we, the people, are the government. We'll see you next time.